AskReddit by JB answers 26. What was once highly respected that is now a complete joke. Walking into a workplace to inquire about a job in person. Construction union contractors can still be like this and I prefer it this way, but for everything else I understand. McAfee antivirus. All the OG antivirus software really. The History Channel, the Learning Channel, MTV. I remember when Bravo used to air operas Jack Donaghy. The Food Pyramid. How dare you? I am enjoying 6-11 servings of bread every day, thank you very much. Bank managers. They used to have serious power in local communities. Now they have to be glorified customer service reps a lot of the time. I'm in banking and I've never really thought about it that way, but it's so true. Sears. I worked there up until they were bought by Kmart. It was a great job making $25 per hour selling vacuums and some appliances. Commissions got cut and I was making minimum wage less than a year after they were acquired. Didn't make that much again at any job until after college. People are going to reflexively deny its initial popularity, but Facebook. It even used its exclusivity as its primary marketing tool during its initial launch only for colleges. I remember the mass exodus from MySpace to Facebook and me not wanting to do it because I liked my little HTML coded background flames over my text and my overly dark themes with music playing from bands so unknown that even I've forgotten them now. But then we all got FB and it became so big I kept trying to get my dad on it and he refused because of safety reasons and privacy. I thought he was weird back then and my sisters even made him a profile that he had them take down. Then about 8 years ago he made an account. Now his entire life is consumed by endlessly scrolling through FB, reposting old memes and signing up for every online offer there is. It's like he did a 180 on his security stance about the time I actually started to understand it. Craftsman tools. OG Craftsman tools were something else. After he died a few years ago I inherited my father's tool collection, most of which he had inherited from my grandfather in the 70s. Those tools are so much better than anything I've bought for myself. Superior quality. Dr. Martens boots. A British institution, you bought a pair, they lasted for years. Alas, private equity got involved, manufacturing was sent offshore, and the quality went down like a submarine. You are better off buying a pair of boots from the company that used to make them for DM, than a genuine pair of DMs nowadays. Their quality is a shadow of what it once was. So who used to make them for Dr. Martens? My husband needs new boots. Lol. Deleted. I used to live in Kitchener-Waterloo for 9 years. RIM practically built that city. Not literally of course, but they brought in so much money to an otherwise relatively small double city, and so much employment. Their downfall was tough, but by then KW had become a mini Silicon Valley, with most big tech companies having offices and incubation labs there. Google is the biggest of course. Landline telephones. The house phone used to be a vital link to the outside world. It's how you talk to friends and family far away, interact with businesses, call for help in an emergency, etc. But once junk calls were allowed to spiral completely out of control, the phone became a nuisance. As someone I saw said a while back, a Gen Z person would sooner jump on a live grenade than accept an incoming call from an unknown number, and that's in the context of mobile phones, which don't get nearly as much spam. Wired phones are almost completely useless today. Unless you live in Florida after a hurricane. I don't have one anymore because it does become a useless expense if they're not used frequently, but having one after very inclement weather was a handy thing. Wells Fargo. Modern Wells Fargo is not the same as stagecoach driving, Wild West Wells Fargo. Norwest Bank acquired real Wells Fargo in the late 90s, but kept the Wells Fargo name as it had better brand recognition. All of the recent scandals have occurred since the takeover in the bank formerly known as Norwest. Bill Cosby. A comedian who once prided himself on only using clean comedy became the inspiration and subject of 1,000 jokes on, well, rape. Quora before it turned into the new Yahoo Answers. Let me answer your question with a long and condescending anecdote about why you're a dickhead. The Guinness Book of World Records. Once a well-established and professional collection of every impressive human feat, now a quick ego boost for age kids that have barely enough talent to balance an egg on their forehead for 15 seconds on a July afternoon at exactly 11:55 am while wearing a Hello Kitty onishi. The Book of Records used to be feats of amazing skill and talent. Now it has records like who can put the most clothespins on their face. All you have to do to beat them is have a bigger face. Bill Bailey. Ellen. One of the funniest things ever will always be that little Ellen kids show being announced literally the same year as her mistreatment of backstage co-workers coming out. This was after it was announced that 3 seasons had been made and 4 seasons were in production. They half-heartedly released the 2nd season on a streamer service, and to date, there's never been any distribution of that 3rd season that finished production. Odds are, it'll end up lost media a few years from now as it rots in the production company's archives, and it'll be the funniest thing ever. We are a family here, said by anyone who isn't your family. Nobody in my family would brag about us being a family. News anchor people. The Walking Dead. Pretty sure it went from #1 show on TV to on life support after the 4th season. Frank Darabont directed the 1st season. He's the same guy who directed The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. Anyway, they ended up firing him due to budget disagreements. AMC wanted him to reduce the episode budgets while producing more episodes. They also ended up firing some of the actors who sided with Frank. Kind of a shame because I think the 1st season was amazing. The Office of Prime Minister in the UK government. It's been a clone show for at least 6 years. The current guy outlasted the lettuce. How's he doing? Yellow Pages. Unfortunately, education, facts, and subject matter experts. Everyone thinks they are an expert because they can Google something. Regardless of their confirmation bias, everyone thinks they are an expert until reality fails their self-made degree or expertise. The Dunning-Kruger effect has made the previously stated skill sets a joke. Apologies if this has been mentioned, but my husband, who is 15 years older than me, told me that he remembers when Bravo was a network that focused on arts educational programming and indie films. I remember that too. I'm old now. Journalists. And no, this isn't some right-wing fake news thing. Consumerism has turned hard-hitting journalism into clickbait bullshit because that's the only way they can turn a profit anymore. There's still real journalists out there, but no new ones are being born. Very sad. So and so tweeted such and such is the laziest news writing ever. Blizzard, the video game company. There is no Blizzard anymore. Only Activision wearing Blizzard's corpse as a skin suit. Flying. People used to dress up. Flight attendants were highly regarded. The food was actually pretty good. Honestly, I feel like in the past 6 years, especially in the past 2 to 3 years since the pandemic, people as a whole of all backgrounds, ethnicities, political views etc. have had a massive decline in trust and faith in many societal institutions and perceived people of power and prestige, as well as each other, as human beings. This is a major part of what's leading to our world seeming so much more fractured and unstable, and I think it's only going to get worse. Working in the educational system. Being a teacher still sounds worthy of respect, but working as one is a joke. Kids are free to do whatever they want. You're barely allowed to punish bad behavior in any way. School politics stop from changing anything. Parents always blame you, etc. I feel so bad for teachers. Their job is one of the most important in our entire society, yet they get paid scraps and saddled with all kinds of bullshit from politicians. Many of mine worked incredibly hard and genuinely loved their jobs, but you could tell they were exhausted. And the schools I went to were damn good as far as public schools go, and they still struggled with funding. I can't even imagine what goes on at the worse off ones. Or even the same schools currently. My state's governor has been cutting education funding like no tomorrow. The name Nimrod. In ancient Rome, Nimrod was a mighty hunter, and now it means fool or incompetent because Bug Bunny called Elmer Fudd Nimrod sarcastically, and the audience didn't catch the sarcasm or reference, or both. Edit. As many have pointed out, Nimrod is in the Bible, and some are suggesting the name is older than that, so I'm striking the Roman reference. It was actually Daffy that calls Elmer this in What Makes Daffy Duck. Bugs has only used Nimrod in reference to Yosemite Sam. There does seem to be a Mandela effect going on, though we see a lot of PPL attributed to Bugs. Staying at a job out of loyalty. You stay loyal to jobs that take care of you. Shit wages, no benefits, and no human decency is where you expect to begin. But if there's zero progress since the day you started, you need to go unless you can admit you're not worth more than where you're at.